As Tang Xiaojing approached, she finally got a clear look at the young man she had been observing from a distance. He seemed to be around her age, tall, lean, and with a strikingly handsome face. So handsome, she thought before quickly shaking her head. No, Tang Xiaojing, you're here to teach this rookie beast tamer a lesson, not to admire his looks. But as much as she tried to suppress the thought, her mind kept circling back. Seriously, why does he have to look so handsome? Determined to stay on track, she marched over to him and confronted him. Do you even know how to train pets? Snow Blow isn't taught like this at all. You're just wasting Xue Henqing's talent skills with this nonsense. Lin Su blinked, startled. Things had been going smoothly in his training session, and now, out of nowhere, this girl, roughly his age, had appeared to question his methods. For a moment, Lin Su could only stare. He understood that his training methods, which originated from the Xinwu world, might seem unconventional, even absurd, to other beast tamers. But they worked. With a shrug, he decided to let his pet do the talking, or rather the demonstrating. Clearing his throat, Lin Su addressed his fluffy companion. Qiu, how are you feeling? Confident? Meow. Omega. Qiu replied, puffing out its chest with an air of smug determination. I've got this. All right, Lin Su said with a grin. Show us. Qiu tilted its head slightly, turning toward an open space. Its tiny mouth puckered as it blew hard, unleashing a cascade of large snowflakes in a perfect 2-meter radius. Unlike the chaotic storm of a frost storm, these snowflakes floated gently to the ground like soft tufts of cotton. Skill Snow Blow successfully mastered. Lin Su and Qiu turned in perfect unison to face Tang Xiaojing, their expressions calm and expectant. Tang Xiaojing, on the other hand, stood frozen, her mouth agape. I, she stammered, her face flushing with embarrassment. If there were a crack in the ground, she would have gladly crawled into it. She had walked over fully prepared to scold him, only to realize that his unconventional method had worked perfectly. Snow Blow, a skill notoriously tricky to teach, had been learned with ease. Still clinging to the last shred of her pride, she asked cautiously, with this method, how many times did you have to practice to learn Snow Blow? After all, the teaching methods shared by League scholars were considered the most efficient. Even if Lin Su's strange approach worked, surely it couldn't be as effective. Lin Su glanced at Qiu before replying. About 18 times, I think. Meow. Omega. Qiu interjected with a dissatisfied wave of its paw. No, it was 16 times. Lin Su nodded, correcting himself. Right, 16 times. Tang Xiaojing stared blankly at him. Does it really matter if it's 16 or 18 times? The point is, that's ridiculously efficient. Enter the penguin. Hey! A disgruntled cry broke the awkward silence as a slow-moving creature waddled into view behind Tang Xiaojing. Lin Su's eyes widened slightly as he activated his communicator to scan the creature. Sequence IAM 0079. Species name, Ice Crown Penguin. Species rank, Low Commander Species. Attributes, Water Ice. Development stage, Juvenile. Energy value, 265p. Talent skills, Water Wave Core, Ice Melting / Water Bullet. Lin Su raised an eyebrow. An Ice Crown Penguin, a rare dual-attribute beast. It was bred exclusively at Ice Crown High School, the neighboring school to his own Green Eagle High School. These penguins were highly sought after, their dual attributes making them popular choices. So, she's a senior from Ice Crown High School? Tang Xiaojing, noticing his gaze, looked at Lin Su with newfound curiosity. Could this strange guy's unorthodox methods actually surpass the League-approved teaching strategies? Steeling herself, she asked hesitantly, could you teach me your method for training Snow Blow? Her voice was softer now, tinged with embarrassment. Moments ago, she had been ready to lecture him, and now she was asking him for help. Lin Su gave her a long, calculating look before raising his hand, his thumb and forefinger pinching together. Tang Xiaojing understood immediately. Of course, he wasn't going to teach her for free. Biting her lip, she made an offer. 2 first-stage energy cubes. As a gift for your pet. Lin Su's eyebrows lifted in surprise. 2 first-stage energy cubes were worth nearly 1,000 league coins. For Qiu, who was just beginning its training, these would be invaluable. He had been considering buying some after today's session anyway. Still, he hesitated briefly before nodding. Deal. But Tang Xiaojing wasn't done. Wait. She held up a hand, her voice firm. Let's agree on this. I'll only hand over the energy cubes if your method works for my ice crown penguin. If it doesn't, no deal. She wasn't naive enough to part with her resources without results. Lin Su's method sounded promising, but she needed proof that it wasn't a bluff. Lin Su shrugged, unbothered. Fair enough. The challenge accepted. With that, the two of them began preparing for the training session. Tang Xiaojing watched closely as Lin Su explained his approach, her initial skepticism giving way to cautious optimism. 3 hours later, her ice-crowned penguin would attempt the skill. Success or failure, the results of Lin Su's strange methods were about to be revealed. Surely, no beast would fail to learn Snow Blow after 100 tries, right? No way. After carefully explaining the precautions to Tang Xiaojing, Lin Su turned his attention back to Qiu, ready to continue their training session. With Snow Blow successfully mastered, Qiu had recovered enough energy to attempt another frost storm. Qiu, Lin Su said, his tone calm but firm. This time, don't go all out with the power. Focus on maintaining your balance. No more rolling around like last time. Meow. Omega. Got it? Qiu nodded earnestly before puffing up its chest and preparing to unleash another frost storm. This time, it held back a portion of its energy, following Lin Su's instructions. The icy storm's range shrank from 5 meters to 4, and although Qiu staggered under the recoil, it managed to stabilize itself, wobbling only slightly. Very good, Lin Su said, a satisfied smile spreading across his face. Keep the power at this level for now. Focus on staying steady. Once you can hold your form perfectly, we'll work on increasing the range. Meow. Okay, Qiu chirped, its fluffy tail swishing with determination. A well-earned reward. Training is over, Lin Su declared after the final frost storm attempt. He bent down to scoop up the tired but happy Qiu, who purred softly in his arms. Reaching into his pocket, Lin Su pulled out a first-tier energy cube. Here, give this a try. Let me know how it tastes. Qiu's eyes sparkled at the sight of the cube, its whiskers twitching in anticipation. Over the past 3 hours, Qiu had made significant progress. While its snow trace skill proficiency hadn't improved much, it had honed Snow Blow to recover energy faster. More importantly, its mastery of Frost Storm had reached a new level. By training repeatedly in a short period, Qiu had gone from staggering helplessly to maintaining perfect balance within a 4-meter range. The energy cube, of course, was a reward courtesy of Tang Xiaojing. Tang Xiaojing's breakthrough. While Lin Su and Qiu trained, Tang Xiaojing had been hard at work with her own pet, an ice-crowned penguin. Under her careful guidance and the occasional temptation of delicious treats, the penguin finally mastered Snow Blow after over 100 tries. Her joy was evident. Beaming with pride, Tang Xiaojing had gone above and beyond, purchasing 2 catnip-flavored first-tier energy cubes as a gesture of gratitude for Lin Su's help. The extra effort didn't go unnoticed. Lin Su chuckled as Qiu sniffed the energy cube eagerly, the faint scent of catnip making its nose twitch with excitement. Meow. Equals carrot omega carrot smiley face. Catnip. My favorite. Take it slow, Lin Su said, watching fondly as Qiu began nibbling on the cube. This isn't the usual breeding cube you've had before. The energy in this one is much stronger. Qiu took his advice seriously for about 5 seconds before devouring the cube with gusto. Reflections and resolve. As Qiu ate, Lin Su leaned back and let out a tired sigh. He hadn't been idle during the training session, either. True to his word, he had been working alongside Qiu, focusing on exercises to improve his own physical fitness. Now, Both trainer and beast were equally exhausted. Lin Su decided he'd treat himself tonight. A proper meal was in order, fried rice with an extra helping of meat. A young man with fried rice, not just with eggs but actual meat. Can you even imagine? He thought, a small grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. A boost in power. Meow. Meow. Greater than over equal to mega less than over equal to. That was delicious. So good I could flip a table. Lin Su snapped out of his thoughts to see Qiu bouncing happily in his arms, its energy fully restored. Let's see how much that helped, Lin Su said, pulling out his communicator for a scan. Sequence IM 0086. Species name, Shui Henqing contracted pet. Species tier, high elite species. Attribute ice. Growth stage juvenile. Energy value, 189p, 195p. Skills, Frost Storm Eye core skill, Snow Trace Eye, Snow Blow Eye. In just a few hours, Qiu's energy value had increased by 6p, a significant boost, thanks to the energy cube. Lin Su smiled. There was still one cube left. Tomorrow, they'd return for another training session, and Qiu would only get stronger. With renewed determination, Lin Su cradled Qiu closer. Together, they were steadily building toward their goal, one snowy step at a time.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
When a person and their pet returned to the Welfare Institute, it was already night. The fatigue from training made Lin Su feel sleepy early, and although Qiu had briefly revived full of energy under the influence of a first-stage energy cube, after returning to the Welfare Institute, it too started to feel drowsy. Mew! Carrot Omega Carrot. Back to the beast taming space. Okay, Lin Su nodded, ready to send Qiu into the beast taming space and simultaneously determine if Qiu in the beast taming space could accompany him to the world of Shenwu. Suddenly, his movements paused, and his complexion subtly changed. Something seemed off. He seemed to have forgotten something. Last night, after traveling to the world of Shenwu and discovering that Qiu had the potential to evolve into a lower-ranked sovereign species, Lin Su couldn't wait to make a contract with Qiu as soon as he returned. With that, a new problem arose. There was an organization similar to the Beast Taming Union in Shenwu called the Beast Taming Union. Compared to the Beast Taming Union on Blue Star, the Beast Taming Union's management was more relaxed and did not probe into the origins of contracted beasts, so contracting any species there would not raise suspicions. But he originally didn't have a contracted beast, and when he woke up without having gone anywhere, he suddenly had a pet. How was he going to explain that to his father and mother, Lin? There was simply no clear explanation. The sudden change to the second stage of his beast taming space and his amnesia were already odd enough. Now that he'd finally managed to avoid giving his parents, Lin, any more strange suspicions, if another inexplicable contracted pet appeared, it would be hard for his parents not to start making other conjectures. Therefore, this time when he traveled, he couldn't bring Qiu along. The fact that he had contracted a pet had to remain a secret for now, and he would just have to let Qiu sleep with him for one more night. With a decision in mind, Lin Su looked at Qiu in his arms, lost in thought. So, how should he explain this to Qiu? He definitely planned to take Qiu with him to the world of Shenwu in the future, so he needed to give it a heads up to manage its expectations. After all, Qiu's intelligence was not much less than that of a human, and it couldn't simply be tricked so easily. After pondering for a while, Lin Su decided to tell Qiu the truth about his ability to travel to another world. While it was better to keep such a secret known to as few people as possible, if he couldn't trust his own contracted pet and needed to hide the truth from it, it would be truly sad. With that thought, Lin Su took a deep breath, checked his surroundings, and then whispered, Qiu, I have a big secret to tell you. Mew Mew? Hey, big secret. 5 minutes later. So tonight, you might not be able to enter the beast taming space, but don't worry. Once I'm over there, I'll think of a way to cover it up as quickly as possible, so you can come to another world with me. Lin Su said firmly as he looked at Qiu. Qiu, Omega, my beast tamer is up to something. He can actually sneak off to another world without me. But, Mew Mew, Omega, without me, Lin Su. You need to be careful. Yes, I'll be careful. Lin Su smiled and lay down on the bed. All right, let's sleep. Chio, familiar with the routine, burrowed into Lin Su's quilt and found a comfortable position in his arms, gently nudging Lin Su's face. Mew Mew, not entering the beast-taming space, but Lin Su's arms are comfy too. Looking at the well-behaved Chio, Lin Su closed his eyes with a smile. This time, he had to find a solution to this problem as quickly as possible. If he delayed any longer, new complications might arise. In the world of Shenwu, waking up, Lin Su sat up from the bed and stretched his body. He could feel that this body had completely recovered and that the strength within was much greater than that of his body on Blue Star. Although he now had a second-stage beast-taming space and couldn't practice martial arts, his original self, as the son of the clan leader of a martial arts family, had started to temper his body from a young age and practice the first realm of martial arts, the body refining realm. This realm didn't involve the elemental force of martial arts, focusing solely on physical conditioning, which did not affect the beast-taming space. The body refining realm corresponded to the juvenile stage of monster growth, which meant that he could fight juvenile stage monsters with just his physical strength in the world of Shenwu. However, it was not very meaningful for Lin Su since there would probably not be many chances to use physical strength. On the other hand, later on, when he had some free time, he could bring back the tempering methods of the body refining realm to Blue Star for his other self to try practicing. By the time Azura came to check on Lin Su's situation as usual, Lin Su was already greeting various pets in the garden, all the while contemplating a solution to the contract issue. Seeing Azura arrive, Lin Su smiled. Azura, could you help me get a map of the area around Yongnan City? Yes, young master. Azura nodded and quickly turned to leave. After Azura left, Lin Su casually picked up the bright light group and began to knead it, his eyes filled with contemplative determination. To bring Chio to Shenwu naturally, he would have to pretend to contract it, deceiving both heaven and earth. Initially, Lin Su thought of telling his parents he wanted to contract Shui Henqing. After getting another Shui Henqing, he could pretend to contract it while actually summoning Chio. But this approach would hardly work, as it would create an extra Shui Henqing out of nowhere. If he were more ruthless, he might find a way to dispose of the extra Shui Henqing, but Lin Su was not that kind of person. He could not casually kill a pet that was friendly to humans. Therefore, this plan could only be rejected. However, it also gave Lin Su new inspiration. The reason the previous plan wouldn't work was because the presence or absence of an extra or one fewer Shui Henqing could easily be detected. What if the number of Shui Henqings was so high that one more or one less wouldn't be noticed? Would this method be feasible then? In the continent of Shenwu, beast tamers acquired their beasts in two ways. The first was to buy a beast and form a contract, and the second was to capture one in the wild. There were no specialized breeding grounds here, but there were designated zones suited for the living habitats of different exotic beasts where they could breed and thrive. These beasts were considered wild, and beast tamers needed to depend on their skills to subdue them. Buying one meant that the number had to match exactly, which obviously wouldn't work. But if one were to enter the wild where the Shui Henqings resided, having one extra wouldn't be noticed by anyone. With his and Xiuqiu's abilities, entering the wild posed certain risks, but Lin Su didn't actually need to contract any beast. He just needed to have a trail showing he had been to the exotic beast zone and then came out having contracted a beast, and that would be enough. Therefore, he didn't need to venture deep into the dangerous inner areas. He could simply choose a safer peripheral zone, quietly stay there for an hour or two, and then come right out. Is there a problem? No, there is no problem. This made the plan much more feasible, and it would completely go unnoticed. It was precisely because of this idea that Lin Su had asked Azzy to find a map of the area for him. As long as there was a zone near Yongnan City covered in ice and snow, suitable for ice exhibits, Lin Su could proceed with his plan. If not nearby, then he might have to think of another plan, as he couldn't just abandon the closed zones to travel to a farther one. Soon, Azzy brought over a map, and Lin Su, after taking just one look, was immediately settled. Not far north of Yongnan City was a mountain range called the Frost Fall Mountain Range. perpetually covered in snow, an ideal habitat for ice exobeasts. Next time, he would bring Qiuqiu along, head to the Frostfall mountain range, find a safe spot to stay for an hour or two, and then leave after forming a contract. The issue would be solved. Once the plan was set, Lin Su's anxious heart steadied a bit. He then inquired Azzy about some specifics related to the Frostfall mountain range, ensuring his plan wouldn't be affected by unforeseen factors, and was completely reassured. Using the pretext of retrieving memories, Lin Su took the initiative to chat with his parents. He subtly expressed a desire to try finding his starter beast by himself, laying groundwork for his next trip to the Frostfall mountain range. Both Lin Su's active closeness and his desire for independence greatly comforted his parents. As a martial artist, Lin Su's father particularly approved of his son's self-reliant spirit, while his mother, somewhat worried, suggested having a Lin family member accompany him to look after him on the road. Of course, Lin Su couldn't agree. He quickly reassured his mother with phrases like, "It's not far, just nearby. I will be careful, and with my body refinement realm cultivation, I can protect myself." With everything prepared, Lin Su returned to his room and began to meditate to cultivate his beast taming space. The tier of the beast taming space was very important, as it determined the number of beasts Lin Su could contract and the upper limits of the beast growth stages. Because he had contracted Qiuqiu, Lin Su had spent 2 days lagging in his cultivation, which he now needed to make up. As he began meditating to cultivate the beast taming space, Lin Su also realized another advantage of traversing 2 worlds. At night, while one body rested from exhaustion, Lin Su could enter the body of the freshly awakened self on the other side, fully energized. This cycle meant that what was 1 day for others was 2 days for Lin Su. In other words, he could spend twice as much time meditating and cultivating the beast taming space as others. This unique ability seemed to offer him even more than he initially thought. The day went by quietly in meditation. Lin Su returned to Earth in his sleep once again. Meow. Omega. Good morning. The moment Lin Su opened his eyes, feeling his awakening, Qiuqiu swiftly hopped into his arms, examining him with a curious gaze. This time was different from yesterday. Qiuqiu now knew that its beast tamer would enter another world after falling asleep, so its eyes were full of curiosity. Meow. Beast tamer, have you thought of a way yet? I've thought of a way. Lin Su smiled. When the time comes, we'll do this. Then that. This plan required Qiuqiu's cooperation, so it was crucial to discuss and agree on it in advance. Meow. Understood. Once Lin Su finished explaining, enthusiasm sparkled in Qiuqiu's big eyes as it nodded vigorously. Seeing Qiuqiu understood him, Lin Su sighed in relief. Today we need to continue training. We didn't use up one first-tier energy cube yesterday, so after today's training, you can consume it and your normal energy level will reach more than 190, Barrio, Washington. Meow. Omega, okay. Despite yesterday's training being strenuous, Qiuqiu's control over Froststorm had noticeably improved, and it had even learned a new skill. The consumption of an energy cube significantly increased its normal energy level, all to great benefit. So today, its enthusiasm for training has significantly increased compared to yesterday. The first-level energy cube you absorbed yesterday wasn't fully assimilated. Lin Su stroked Qiuqiu's head while explaining. According to the energy absorption curve for pets, you've only absorbed about 70% so far, and there's still 30% of the energy in your body that hasn't been completely utilized. While explaining, Lin Su pulled up the relevant formulas and curves on the communicator to show Qiuqiu, all of which are theoretical knowledge that should be learned in high school, and Lin Su had long since mastered them. Qiuqiu immediately looked at Lin Su with eyes filled with admiration. What's it like having a beast tamer who's an academic overachiever? Meow? Omega. So how can I fully absorb it? A greater amount of training. Right now, you need to completely exhaust your physical strength to force your body to absorb the accumulated energy. So today we're going to increase our training time to 4 hours. Lin Su gave Qiuqiu an encouraging look, and the frequency of Froststorm training is going to be increased as well. Meow. But what if my physical strength can't recover in time? That's easy to solve. Today, We won't go to the beginner's ice and snow training ground. We'll head straight to the intermediate one, where the ice and snow energy is much stronger and can help you recover faster. Lin Su activated the calculator on the communicator, and after a series of calculations, he looked at Xiao. Roughly every 10 minutes, you should be able to recover the strength to perform Frost Storm, meaning you can cast Frost Storm 24 times in 4 hours, significantly improving your proficiency with the skill. Meow. Degree Omega Degree, double the practice? To progress a skill from level I to level 2, it requires at least 1,000 repetitions. Some special skills need even more. Lin Su paused. The snow blow you learned yesterday is one of them. Since level 2 snow blow will undergo a transformation in quality, the number of practice repetitions for snow blow to move from level I to level 2 could potentially reach tens of thousands. Meow. Meow. Degree Omega Degree. Tens of thousands? The expression on Xiao's face gradually turned to horror. So, you gotta work hard. Lin Su's eyes teased as he looked at Xiao. I originally planned to teach you some other skills, but right now these 3 skills already take up all your training time. So I've decided, before you reach level 2 on these 3 skills, I'm not going to teach you any new ones. Meow. No way. Upon hearing this, Xiao shook its head without hesitation. Having learned Snow Blow yesterday, it had already tasted the sweetness of new skills, and now, hearing that there were other new skills, it couldn't wait any longer. Reaching level 2 for a skill? I can do it. Increased training volume? I can do it. Jumping out of Lin Su's arms, Xiao dashed to the front door and looked back at Lin Su. Meow meow. Greater than over equal to mega less than over equal to. Beast Tamer, hurry up, let's go train. This? Lin Su closed the communicator, looking at the impatiently stomping Xiao at the door with a somewhat joyful expression. He had indeed intentionally said those words to boost Xiao's training motivation. This was a common encouragement method used by beast tamers to motivate their pets, the goal-reward method. Only, was the effect a bit too strong? No rush. We must have some energy replenishment before training. Let's have breakfast first, and then go to the association for training, Lin Su said with a helpless smile. A pet that's too eager can be a bit tiring for a beast tamer. After all, he had to train as well. Decision made. Today's breakfast will be 4 big meat buns and 2 cups of soy milk. Add 1 more big meat bun, and even lunch can be skipped. Xiao was great today. You worked hard. Walking back to the welfare center, Lin Su held Xiao in his arms, carefully caressing it, a look of pity appearing in his eyes. To completely drain Xiao's physical strength and encourage its body to instinctively absorb the residual energy from the energy cube under extreme conditions, Lin Su had arranged a much heavier training schedule for Xiao today than yesterday. Not only did the number of Frost Storm training sessions double, but the difficulty of the other 2 skills increased as well. Under such a large amount of training, Xiao not only fully absorbed the residual energy from the energy cube it ate yesterday, but it also consumed another cube during the training and absorbed most of the energy. In the span of 2 days, having invested resources worth over 1,000 Union coins, Xiao's gains were substantial. The Snow Blow skill, which Xiao had just learned yesterday, was already mastered today, easily producing large swathes of snowflakes under any condition, and even Snow Trace, which showed little progress yesterday, had visible improvement today. As for the core skill, Frost Storm, after dozens of hard training sessions and with the addition of the energy cube, Xiao can now expand the attack range to about 5.5 meters and maintain its posture steadily. Such a Frost Storm could only be considered barely entry-level. Only when it can be released at will during running and jumping can it be considered as being proficiently mastered. Moreover, Xiao's standard energy value has improved from 189p yesterday to 197p today. Faced with Lin Su's encouragement, Xiao, fighting against its fatigue, rubbed its fluffy head against the palm of his hand. Meow. Omega. Lin Su worked hard too. Let's take a good rest in the beast taming space. Meow. Yay. A pale yellow light flickered, and Xiao in his arms entered the beast taming space. Feeling that Xiao quickly fell asleep in the beast taming space, with its physical strength recovering at a faster rate, Lin Su smiled. But after feeling the energy cubes in his pocket, his smile faded somewhat. Yesterday, by teaching that girl the snow blow in a different teaching method, Lin Su earned 2 first-level energy cubes. During the training, as Qiuqiu continuously absorbed the energy from the energy cubes to improve itself, Lin Su fully realized why the cubes were so expensive. Eating the energy cubes combined with training yielded results several times better than regular training. So, after feeding the second energy cube to Qiuqiu today, Lin Su bit the bullet and bought 2 catnip-flavored first-level energy cubes and 2 ice attribute first-level energy cubes. The former was specifically for replenishing training energy, the kind Qiuqiu ate, while the latter could help a beast better master its own elemental power, proving more helpful and valuable to the beast. The regular first-level energy cube cost 500 Union coins. The catnip flavor was priced 50 coins more, and each ice attribute first-level energy cube cost 1,500 Union coins. In total, he had spent 4,100 Union coins, including other expenses like renting a training ground for these 2 days. Lin Su's initial 15,000 Union coins were now down to just 10,000. 10,000 Union coins, if used sparingly, could still support Qiuqiu's training for a while, but there would definitely come a day when it would run out. Lin Su's earning speed was nowhere near the spending rate of Qiuqiu's training. Relying on his previous money-saving methods to support himself and Qiuqiu was unrealistic. So cutting costs was not enough. He also needed to increase revenue. He had to think of new ways to make money, not necessarily to be wealthy, but to at least meet the needs of his and Qiuqiu's training. In the past, he couldn't have earned so much, but now he had advantages others did not possess. Being able to travel to another world was his greatest leverage. How to monetize this ability without raising too much suspicion. A contemplative light shone in Lin Su's eyes. Bringing items from the world of Shenwu was not feasible. The beast taming space couldn't hold anything other than beasts, and since he wasn't wearing it, Lin Su couldn't bring anything back with him. If he contracts a space-type beast with personal space in the future, he might be able to resolve the issue of transporting items. For now, the only thing he could bring back was some knowledge from the world of Shenwu, such as entirely new evolution pathways or novel teaching skills. Or like yesterday, exchanging existing teaching skills in new ways for the training resources he needed. The last option was the safest. New teaching methods created from existing skills could easily be attributed to a sudden inspiration. But the problem was that not every teaching method in the world of Shenwu was superior to Blue Star's. The 2 worlds explored the capabilities of beast tamers in fundamentally different ways. Shenwu stressed experience and bold experimentation, while the exploration of the beast path on Blue Star was closely linked to science. If compared, Blue Star's methods were actually more efficient. The snow blow was merely an exception. Lin Su couldn't produce another teaching method superior to that of Blue Star's in a short amount of time. Therefore, this approach was not viable, and in the end, the means of making money would have to rely on new teaching skills and new evolution pathways. The emergence of new teaching skills often started with the talent skills of a certain beast as a template. After long-term research and pattern matching, a universal teaching method is finally created to allow other beasts without that talent skill to learn it. This process involved no luck whatsoever. There was no such instance where a teaching skill suddenly came to mind in a stroke of inspiration. It had to be built on a foundation of extensive theoretical knowledge. However, evolution routes were different. The evolution of alien beasts held infinite possibilities, and sometimes, by sheer chance, like a blind cat stumbling upon a dead mouse, there might be the potential to discover an entirely new evolution route. The element of chance and randomness was much greater. So, as a newly contracted beast tamer, it was safer for Lin Su to profit from evolution routes than from teaching skills, as it would draw fewer questions. To monetize an evolution route, as far as Lin Su knew, there were 2 methods. The first was to register the evolution route as an exclusive evolution route, similar to patents before the cataclysm on Blue Star. This was a measure to protect intellectual property. Once registered and authenticated, if others wanted to view the details of this evolution route, they had to pay a certain amount in alliance currency. After a deduction, These funds would become income for Lin Su. If someone disclosed the exclusive evolution route to others without permission, Lin Su could also seek claims and enforce his rights through the Alliance's relevant laws. The second method was to directly submit the evolution route to the Beast Tamers Association, which would validate it and then make it public throughout the entire Alliance. By doing so, Lin Su couldn't earn Alliance currency, but could gain a substantial amount of Alliance contribution points. The battle between humans and alien beasts never ceased, and the Yin Huang Seifi Alliance was always in a state of wartime. Alliance contribution points were the Alliance's rewards for those who had served meritoriously. They could be obtained through fighting alien beasts or via new research that aided beast tamers. They were not Alliance currency, yet within the Alliance, they could be exchanged for anything that Alliance currency could buy, in addition to some items that Alliance currency couldn't purchase. If Lin Su chose the former option, his overall earnings would certainly be higher than if he chose the latter. After all, once an evolution route was registered as exclusive, the earnings would flow in a steady stream. As long as someone was interested in your evolution route, you could continue to profit from it for a long time to come. If Lin Su chose the latter option, it would be a one-time deal, with no subsequent earnings. The only advantage would be that he would gain Alliance contribution points instead of Alliance currency. Thus, Lin Su chose the latter option. On one hand, he had already decided to offer an evolution route with a smaller improvement span to avoid unnecessary attention. Such an evolution route naturally had less appeal for beast tamers to pay to view, meaning the income he'd receive from the first method would not be as high as imagined. On the other hand, what Lin Su needed wasn't actually money, but resources to support his and Qiuqiu's training. Contribution points could be used to exchange for these resources at a discount. Plus, he could exchange for some resources he couldn't buy with Alliance currency, which made them much more useful. After weighing his options, Lin Su finally made a decision. During his contemplation, he had unknowingly arrived at the entrance of the welfare house. After returning to his room, Lin Su closed his eyes to sense Qiuqiu's condition. Qiuqiu's fatigue had already significantly recovered, showing signs of slowly awakening from deep sleep. This slightly eased his mind. Tonight, after going to the divine martial world, Lin Su would proceed with Qiuqiu according to their previously planned deceive heaven and cross the sea strategy. So at this moment, he had to ensure Qiuqiu was well rested in advance to deal with any unexpected situations that might arise. Without waking Qiuqiu, Lin Su sat on the bed, turned on his communicator, and logged into the Beast Tamers Association platform using his official Beast Tamer status. It didn't take long to find the entry for submitting evolution routes. The rise of Blue Star Beast Tamers had only been a little over 100 years. With the emergence of the alien beast ban, the evolution routes for lower-ranked species became particularly important. The demand for completely new evolution routes from the various security alliances of the immortal country, which for the moment couldn't rival the alien beasts in high-end combat power, was unprecedented. In order not to overlook any new evolution routes, the Yanhuang Alliance's Beast Tamers Association encouraged people from all walks of life to initiate and try researching pets' evolution routes, not simply sticking to existing research, but submitting even just conjecture through a dedicated submission portal on the Beast Tamers Association platform. After submission, the Beast Tamers Association would invite research scholars at random to validate the feasibility of the evolution routes. Although this would consume some manpower and resources and might often turn out fruitless, the Yanhuang Alliance didn't care about such waste in the pursuit of new research. A collective effort was the best way to outpace competition. With his hand hovering in midair, Lin Su furrowed his brows, pondering which evolution route to choose before he began typing. Under the support of the evolution technique Water Breath Alveoli, the swift lizard first uses a second-tier resource, Firestone, to stimulate blood circulation, followed by the absorption of third-tier resources Water Energy Crystal, Aquamarine, and third-tier Ghost Energy Crystal, to evolve into a dual-element water and earth pet beast. The new species is tentatively named Big Mouth Crocodile. The following are the theoretical bases. After writing approximately 1,000 words, Lin Su clicked Submit, followed by a confirmation pop-up. Evolution Route Review in progress. The contribution points will be rewarded according to the corresponding value upon approval. Phew, it's done. Lin Su let out a deep breath of relief. The review probably wouldn't be so quick. After the evolution route submission, the Beast Tamers Association would arrange for researchers to conduct experiments to verify the feasibility of this evolution route. Then, they would assess its value, and only then the Alliance contribution points would be credited. The entire process was expected to take several days. His choice of evolutionary path was one of the less eye-catching types. The swift lizard itself was an upper-middle-tier Earth element elite species. After evolution along this path, the result, a water-earth dual-element big-mouthed crocodile, was just a low-level leader species, having climbed only a minor rank to barely become a leader species. What's more, the swift lizard had another evolutionary path on Blue Star that could turn it into an upper-level leader species in the Earth element category, the split rock lizard, thus making this evolutionary path seem even more lackluster. The Alliance awarded many contribution points for any new evolutionary path. So even if the evolutionary path Lin Su provided was somewhat lackluster, the contribution points he could gain from it would not be few. The level 6 resources needed for Qiuqiu's evolution were not enough, but over the next 2 months, before the entrance exam for Beast Tamer University, there would be no problem supporting both Lin Su and Qiuqiu to train full force. Thinking that in a few days, he and Qiuqiu wouldn't have to worry about training resources for some time, a radiant smile appeared on Lin Su's face. Slowly closing his eyes, he began to communicate with Qiuqiu, who had fully recovered his spirit and awakened within the beast-taming space. Qiuqiu, next I'm going to take you to the divine martial world. Meow. I'm so looking forward to it. Don't just look forward to it. You remember the plan we discussed before, right? Lin Su reminded. Meow. Rest assured, Lin Su. Qiuqiu indicated that everything was under control. Seeing that Qiuqiu was ready, Lin Su put aside the closed communicator, lay down on the bed, and closed his eyes. After a while, he still couldn't fall asleep. It was probably because he had just submitted the evolutionary path that he was a bit excited, causing insomnia. This was no good. Lin Su scratched his head. He recalled that Qiuqiu's evolutionary form, apart from the ice element, also had the spirit element. Spirit element teaching capabilities? Wasn't there hypnosis? He needed to let Qiuqiu evolve sooner and learn this ability, so he could fall asleep anytime he wanted. 1 sheep, 2 sheep. After counting sheep for a while, the weariness from training finally overcame his excitement, and the wave of drowsiness that swept and sent him into a deep sleep. At the Evolution Research Institute in the Mountain City Beast Tamer University, in one of the labs, a short-haired woman sat dejectedly in a swivel chair. Under the bright lights, her delicate features appeared more sculpted, and her brows, straight and slim as swords, lent her an air of vigor that detracted somewhat from feminine softness. TSSS. She seemed to pull out a beer can from nowhere, popped it open, and took a big gulp. Glug glug, her cheeks gradually blooming with a tipsy flush. After a beer burp, the woman put down the can, muttering disgruntledly to herself. Another damn failure. There was nothing wrong with my calculations. Why won't the divine light butterfly evolve? So annoying, she shouted into the empty lab before grabbing the beer can and resuming her drinking. Glug glug. Beep beep beep. A series of urgent tones had the woman instinctively reaching for her communicator. Upon turning it on, a message popped up. The Beast Tamer Association invites you to verify a new evolutionary form of the swift lizard. The swift lizard? That clunky thing that has nothing swift about it. The woman showed a trace of disdain, but still accepted. I want to see what kind of evolution this is. Swiftly, the text content that Lin Su had compiled appeared before the woman. After just one glance, the woman with the spirited eyebrows painfully furrowed them together. I hate these messed-up report formats from idiots. Upon seeing the brief introduction at the front, she couldn't help but roll her eyes. Evolving towards the water element and using a second-level fire element resource? What is the Beast Tamer Association doing? Why don't they just reject this clearly sloppily written, luck-testing evolutionary path? Despite her constant complaints, The woman patiently read through the entire introduction to the evolutionary path. Her expression became increasingly odd, though this report was damn absurd. Why did she feel like there was something damn reasonable about it? Was there an issue with this evolutionary path? Or was she the one with the issue? Feeling his consciousness become clear again, Lin Su opened his eyes to look at the room of his own in the godly martial world. Then he closed his eyes to check on the beast taming space. Although he believed that once the pet beasts entered the beast taming space, they could shuttle between the two worlds with him, he had never actually tested this theory before. At this moment, the scene within the beast taming space offered Lin Su a dose of reassurance. Qiuqiu was comfortably staying inside the beast taming space without any anomalies. Qiuqiu, did you feel anything special just now? Lin Su asked curiously. For him, falling asleep in one world meant entering another. But what about the pets? What different experiences might they have? Meow? Meow. That's it? I felt nothing at all? Qiuqiu's voice was tinged with confusion. It even thought the crossing hadn't begun yet. Did the pet beasts in the beast taming space not notice the process of crossing at all? Lin Su nodded thoughtfully, and then, with a slight move of his mind, a faint yellow light wove into an array, and Qiuqiu's silhouette appeared for the first time in the godly martial continent. Summoning was no problem either. He completely relaxed. Leaving the beast taming space, Qiuqiu curiously surveyed its surroundings, then turned to look at Lin Su. At that glance, Qiuqiu was startled. Meow! Beast Tamer, you've changed? Due to martial arts training from a young age, Lin Su's appearance in the godly martial world was somewhat different from that on Blue Star, yet his facial features were still quite similar. Both equally handsome as the readers. Lin Su wasn't surprised by Qiuqiu's astonishment, and after briefly explaining, he gave Qiuqiu a mysterious smile. Qiuqiu, I have some good news for you. Meow! What good news? Qiuqiu scampered onto Lin Su in a few steps and sat down, its big eyes looking on curiously. Lin Su casually picked up the Beast Race introduction book from the bedside, opened the already marked page, and showed it to Qiuqiu. You have an evolutionary type. Qiuqiu. Omega. Seeing Qiuqiu's dazed expression, Lin Su laughed. He had not told Qiuqiu about this before because he hadn't brought Qiuqiu to the godly martial world. After being dazed for a while, Qiuqiu finally grasped the main point. Meow? Meow? Greater than over equal to omega less than over equal to. What's an evolutionary type? How do I evolve? Your evolutionary type is... Just as Lin Su was about to explain the evolutionary path to Qiuqiu, his expression froze, and he instantly returned Qiuqiu to the beast taming space. The next moment, the door to the room was gently pushed open, and Azi peeked into the room. Young master, did I just hear a cat meowing? A cough, maybe you heard wrong. Lin Su awkwardly smiled and inwardly scolded himself for his carelessness. Successfully bringing Qiuqiu over had almost made him forget about his predicament. For the moment, Qiuqiu couldn't be revealed. The plan of deceiving the skies must be smoothly completed first. Inside the beast taming space, Qiuqiu was filled with curiosity about its evolutionary type. But understanding that it shouldn't go out yet through their bond, it simply lazily lay there lost in thought. The beast tamer said, I have an evolutionary type. I wonder what I will evolve into in the future? As it pondered, it couldn't help but joyfully roll around in the beast taming space. Outside, after a brief chat with Azi, Lin Su, neatly dressed, stepped out of the room, instructing Azi to tell his parents that he was going to check out the nearby beast gathering area. Then, tucking the map under his arm, he left the Lin family and headed straight for the Frostfall mountain range. Now that Qiuqiu was here and he himself had recovered, there was no need to delay any further. Implementing the plan sooner will mean Qiuqiu can appear openly in the godly martial world sooner. The Frostfall mountain range was located near the outskirts of Yongnan City, and he could get there just by leaving the city. Stepping into the misty, snow-covered Frostfall mountain range, Lin Su had a more relaxed expression on his face. We're here. What comes next is simple. In this beast gathering area, the stronger beasts dwell closer to the center. So finding a safe place on the periphery virtually guarantees not encountering any powerful beasts. After waiting an hour or two, it would usually be safe to go out. With no one around, Lin Su confidently summoned Qiuqiu out. In the snow-covered territory, which was Snow Trace's home field, with Qiuqiu's help, he quickly found a natural ice cave that could serve as temporary shelter. It was just a shallow little cave, but it was enough to protect Lin Su from the wind and frost. Settled inside the ice cave, Lin Su took out the Beast Race introduction book from his space ring and looked at Qiuqiu in his arms. Come on, let's talk about your future evolutionary path. Meow. Omega, yay! In the vast snowy wilderness, a creature entirely white, resembling both a cat and a tiger, moved agilely across the snowfield. Its ears were round and much smaller than a cat's, and its tail was merely a short stub. Its limbs were strong and robust, blossoms of ice unfurling beneath its feet as it ran without leaving a single track. This was indeed a snow trace that had reached the second tier. Although the name of the species Snow Henching was derived from the talent skill Snow Trace, Snow Trace was not a talent unique to Snow Henching. This was a high-ranking commanding species, the Snow Lynx. 100 meters ahead of this Snow Lynx, there was a beast that looked like a snow rabbit but had 3 long tails. The creature's ears twitched slightly, as if it sensed danger approaching and started fleeing wildly. However, even though it detected its prey in time, its speed was far from matching that of the Snow Lynx, and the distance between them was closing visibly fast. The panicked prey took off haphazardly toward the outer edges of the snow plains, dragging along the powerful predator from the depths of the wilderness. As the prey entered its attack range, the pupils of the Snow Lynx slowly narrowed, like a dark abyss completely swallowing the shadow of the prey reflected in its eyes. Suddenly, the Snow Lynx leaped into the air, and each of its robust foreclaws shimmered with an icy blue glow. With a fierce swipe of its paws, a terrifying 10-meter-long claw shadow shot toward the doomed prey. Without any suspense, the prey was instantly slashed into several pieces, losing all signs of life before it could react. Another talent skill of the Snow Lynx, Ice Trace Claw. After landing back on the ground, the famished Snow Lynx pounced on the not yet completely cold corpse of its prey and gobbled it up hungrily. Grr! Eat while it's still warm. After feasting for a while, the eyes of the Snow Lynx showed a hint of dissatisfaction. It was still not full. It glanced around, the pupils tightening again, scouring for any traces of potential prey. After a short pause, Grr! Where am I? It seems like an hour has passed. Lin Su popped his head out from the ice cave to check the sky, murmured to himself, and hugged Qiuqiu in his arms. Let's go, Qiuqiu. We can go out now. Meow, meow. Let's go set off. By now, Qiuqiu had understood what his future evolved form would be and had grown noticeably more arrogant than before, still an elite race. Yet his demeanor was no different from that of a sovereign race. I, Qiuqiu, and the future sovereign race. It floated mentally. Realizing there was an issue with Qiuqiu's mentality, Lin Su gently tapped the little guy's head. Don't be too arrogant. You haven't evolved yet. Even with an evolutionary path, you need to continue improving and accumulating power before you can evolve. Meow, got it? Seeing Qiuqiu adjusting its attitude following his words, Lin Su sighed in relief. Underestimating opponents and arrogance are very detrimental traits for battle pets. And even though Qiuqiu only showed some signs, it was necessary to nip them in the bud early on. The plan to deceive and evade was a success. Now all he needed to do was return to the Lin family, and he could safely release Qiuqiu and inform his parents that this was the battle pet he had contracted in the Frostfall mountain range. Thinking this, Lin Su did not hesitate to step out of the ice cave and walked in the direction of Yongnan City. After a few steps, Qiuqiu's ears twitched slightly in his arms. Meow! Something is approaching. Ha! Alerted by Qiuqiu's warning, Lin Su quickly scanned the surroundings and soon spotted a white figure approaching at ghostly speed. Thanks to the enhanced vision from his body refinement realm cultivation, he was barely able to make out the outline of the figure. A snow lynx? Recognizing the race of the beast, Lin Su's expression changed drastically. This was a high-ranking sovereign race, and this speed, much more terrifying than that of Qiuqiu, was definitely not something a juvenile stage beast could possess. This was an elite stage beast. Qiuqiu poked its head out from Lin Su's arms, its pupils also narrowing into a sharp point, facing the similarly sharp eyes of the snow lynx directly. The next moment, it spat out a storm of frost snow that swept toward the snow lynx approaching head-on. The snow lynx roared, and its previously leaping movement was disrupted by the storm for a moment. The sharp edges of the frost flowers slipped through the fine gaps between its dense fur, bringing up numerous tiny bloodstains. After all, being an elite stage beast, Qiuqiu's frost storm couldn't inflict major damage on the snow lynx. Although the injuries appeared severe, they were mere superficial wounds that would soon recover. The disruption caused by the frost storm gave Lin Su some time to snap out of his initial panic and quickly calm down. He scooped up Qiuqiu and ran without hesitation towards Yongnan City. Beast gathering areas were territories left by human warriors for beasts, and also where human martial artists honed themselves and beast tamers searched for battle pets. Inside the gathering area, if a beast hurt or killed a person, it was seen as the person's own incompetence. But a wild beast leaving the gathering area and hurting people would be immediately killed. So as long as he left the boundaries of the beast gathering area, the snow lynx would definitely not dare to keep chasing. Qiuqiu, be ready to release the frost storm at any moment. Meow. Understood. With Qiuqiu's current stamina, releasing the frost storm twice in a row was its limit. Thus, it could only unleash it one more time and needed to save this last frost storm for when it was most needed. The tiny bloodstains on the elite stage beast's body healed rapidly with its robust vitality. The itchy and painful sensation made the snow lynx even more ferocious. Its slender, needle-like pupils menacingly focused on the retreating figure of Lin Su. Noticing the majestic Yongnan City in the distance, its eyes showed a hint of wariness. The speed of the snow lynx suddenly increased, ice flowers blossoming under its feet as it rapidly pursued Lin Su. The distance between it and Lin Su was slowly decreasing, just as the distance to the border of the Frostfall mountain range was also closing in. Just as Lin Su stepped onto the borderline, the snow lynx let out an angry roar. A streak of ice trace claw, filled with the snow lynx's unwillingness, swiftly descended toward Lin Su's back. Now! Meow! Frost storm! A frost storm spewed toward the descending ice trace claw as Lin Su, exhausted from excessive physical exertion, held Qiuqiu close and curled his body, turning his back to the snow lynx. The next moment, a piercing pain shot through his back. The ice trace claw had indeed been weakened by its clash with Qiuqiu's frost storm, its force slightly reduced, yet the disparity in strength between them was too vast. Even after being weakened, the ice trace claw remained terrifyingly formidable. Just as the snow lynx was smugly attempting to cross the boundary and drag Lin Su and Qiuqiu back to its territory, a sudden change occurred. The ravaging snow of the Frostfall mountain range quietly stagnated, a terrifying presence descending slowly with a soul-shaking oppression. A beast as large as a small hill appeared in an instant. It was a golden eagle of mountainous size, its feathers shimmering with a cold light like blades. Its sharp claw blades caused ripples in the space, leaving little doubt that a single forceful strike could tear the fabric of space itself. Atop this terrifying creature stood a man. The man quietly looked at the snow lynx, who was pressed fiercely into the snow by the oppression, nearly fainting with fright, and said faintly, "You're lucky. One more step, and I would have slain you right here. You didn't cross the boundary, so scram." The pressure quietly relaxed, and the snow lynx, regaining the ability to move, didn't utter another word as it frantically sprinted deeper into the Frostfall mountain range. The man leaped down from the giant eagle, looking at the young man on the ground struggling to support himself, his face twisted in severe pain and his body shivering involuntarily. Observing the deep, bone-visible wounds on the young man's back and the unscathed Shui henching in his arms, he remained silent for a long while. purple-black light patterns slowly intertwined at his feet into a complex and dazzling pattern, and a towering tree descended behind him. As soon as it appeared, the surroundings were enveloped in greenery and vitality, numerous light green dots scattering like fireflies, bearing life and healing powers. Poshagon Lin, save him. Sasa, leave it to me. The green light surged into Lin Su's back wound like a tide, the wound healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Lin Su felt the numbness and pain at the sight on his spine vanish at that moment, a soothing sensation making him involuntarily groan. As the wound began to heal superficially, Lin Su's face finally regained some color, and he looked gratefully at the man. "Thank you, Senior, for helping." The man said nothing, retracted the towering tree, stepped onto the giant eagle, and soared upwards, vanishing in an instant. Secretly memorizing the senior's appearance, Lin Su looked at Qiuqiu in his arms, who was anxiously and worriedly looking at him, and smiled slightly. "It's okay now, let's go home." "Meow. I was too weak." "Don't say that." Lin Su petted Qiuqiu's head, his face brightening with a smile. "We will train together, and soon we will become much stronger. This is just the beginning." The mysterious beast tamer had only healed Lin Su's life-threatening injuries, stopping the bleeding and accelerating the healing of the wounds. Lin Su had not fully recovered, and the excessive bleeding had also weakened him, making his journey back appear faltering. Facing Lin Su returning home injured, his mother's words were filled with care and reproach, her eyes red with heartache, while his father, although casually saying things like, "What's a man without some wounds?" had Azzy prepare the medicine faster than anyone else. Lin Su had not forgotten the reason for his severe injuries, having already prepared an explanation beforehand, which his parents easily accepted. He had contracted with a snow lynx in the Frost Fall mountain range. Although there were some minor incidents, the deceptive plan was smoothly completed. After drinking the medicinal soup for healing, Lin Su placed Qiuqiu back into the beast taming space and soon fell deeply asleep under the effects of the medicine. Blue Star. Having just awakened, Lin Su summoned Qiuqiu from the beast taming space and immediately opened his communicator. He had not forgotten that, before heading to the divine martial world, he had submitted a new evolution path to the Beast Taming Association. Even though it was definitely too soon for the review to be completed, he couldn't help but want to take a look. Upon logging into the Beast Taming Association platform, an unread message popped up instantly. "Regarding the review result of your submitted evolution path." "HM? The results came out so soon?" Lin Su was slightly startled, followed by a darkening of his expression. "They sent the reply overnight. Could it be that it didn't pass the review?" Trembling hands clicked open the receipt, and Lin Su quickly realized he had misunderstood. The reason for the quick response was not a failed review. Instead, it was because the Beast Association's efficiency was extraordinarily high. They had approved it overnight. Lin Su, holding Qiuqiu, couldn't help but click his tongue in amazement. He hadn't expected that the Beast Association would verify it overnight and come to a definitive conclusion so quickly. Although he had always known that this evolutionary path would not have any issues, he still had to say it at this moment. Such a diligent Beast Association is really lovable. Mountain City University's Evolution Research Institute. The dawn's light shone through the glass window into a laboratory where not a single person could be seen, until at a certain moment, a hand tremulously extended from the side of the desk to press on the edge, followed by another hand. After quite a while, a somewhat disheveled short-haired woman propped herself up on the desk and stood up, her large dark circles making her appear particularly worn out. One night, might as well be dead, she staggered over to the coffee machine, brewed a cup of coffee, and gulped it down with a glug-glug, followed by a light stamp of her foot. Beneath her feet, pale purple light patterns intertwined into an incredibly complex pattern, and a pet beast resembling a humanoid in form, no taller than 1 meter, with blue-green patterns all over its body and a huge umbrella-like cap on its head, somewhat resembling a mushroom, appeared beside the woman. Almost simultaneous with the summoning of the pet beast, the woman skillfully took out a pack of refined women's cigarettes from her pocket, lit one after pulling it out, inhaled deeply, and expertly exhaled a ring of smoke, her expression becoming listless. "Mushroom baby, nourish me." "Gulula, no problem." Soon, the cigarette was finished, but the woman did not continue with another. Instead, she put the woman's cigarette back in her pocket, and her dark circles were completely healed thanks to Mushroom Baby. Back to full health. Bending down to pat the plush cap of Mushroom Baby, the woman grinned. "If it weren't for you, little one, how could I even live?" Hearing this, Mushroom Baby covered his eyes with two sprout-like hands, showing a shy demeanor. "Gulula, tea." After sending Mushroom Baby back to the beast taming space, the woman tapped a few times on a communicator, her face taking on a more playful expression. A high school senior discovered a new evolutionary path. "This kid is interesting." As an invited verifier for the Beast Association, the woman could not access any identity information of the submitter before the verification was completed to prevent any possibility of favoritism. But now that the review had passed, with the authority of a Level 1 researcher herself, she was fully capable of checking the submitter's identity information. On checking, she discovered something rather significant. She had assumed that this was either a university student stumbling upon something by fluke without proficient skills, or an evolutionary path submitted by some research institute, but the actual submitter turned out to be a high school senior who had just obtained his initial pet beast and completed certification. Although research into evolutionary paths required relatively less theoretical knowledge, it was not something a high school student's theoretical knowledge could achieve. If the submitted evolutionary path had been of little value, she wouldn't have paid much attention to these details. But this evolutionary path was a bit unusual. Even though there were better evolutionary types for the swift lizard, submitting a lesser evolutionary type was very superfluous. Yet some theories within this evolutionary path had caught the woman's interest. Using opposing attribute resources to provoke the intrinsic instincts of exotic beasts, thereby helping the exotic beasts better absorb evolutionary resources and complete the process. This was a line of thinking no one had ever considered before and sounded very risky, but her overnight experiment had proven that this evolutionary path was more stable than imagined. Moreover, her own ongoing research project had also gained some new experimental directions inspired by this evolutionary path. "I'll send him a personal email, see if I can find some time to talk to him in person." The woman thought of something, and her eyes sparkled with amusement. "Kid, you've successfully piqued my interest." Continuing to read the detailed contents of the receipt, gradually, Lin Su's eyes widened. He had chosen to submit the evolutionary path of the swift lizard for two reasons. The first was that this evolutionary path was inefficient, which would not attract too much attention. The second was that this evolutionary path didn't use any evolution skills or resources unavailable on Blue Star, avoiding further complications. He had been extremely cautious, yet he had not expected that there would still be a slight issue. The receipt's evaluation of the swift lizard's evolutionary path stated, "The evolutionary path itself does not have much referential value, but the innovative approach to using opposing attribute resources is groundbreaking. Overall assessment is above average." Opposing attribute resources. Lin Su sighed lightly. His theoretical knowledge was still lacking. He knew very little about evolutionary paths and had completely overlooked this issue. Fortunately, the review went smoothly in the end, without too many surprises. And because of the higher evaluation, the rewarded alliance contribution points increased accordingly. Ultimately, through this submission of the evolutionary path, Lin Su earned 500 contribution points. Contribution points and alliance coins were not interchangeable, but the approximate value difference between them was 1,000 times, meaning these 500 contribution points were equivalent to 500,000 alliance coins. Moreover, since you can get a discount using contribution points when exchanging resources, the actual value is even higher. For example, a previous first-level ice attribute energy cube that cost 1,500 alliance coins each could be exchanged for just one contribution point. With so many contribution points, it was enough for Lin Su and Qiu to use for training for a long time. Thinking of this, Lin Su couldn't help but lift Qiu and toss her into the air. "Qiu, we're rich." "Meow?" "Omega, can we buy more energy cubes now?" Catnip flavor should be enough. Lin Su waved his arm enthusiastically. Let's place an order now. The benefits of exchanging contribution points included discounts on resources, not having to pay extra for choosing flavors of energy cubes and breeding cubes, and being able to buy directly from the Beast Tamer Association's website with delivery included to your home, among other things. That's right, free shipping was the key point. The shipping fee alone was enough for him to enjoy a breakfast flaunting 2 cups of soy milk. The human and pet duo squeezed their heads together, leaning close to the communicator screen, and started picking out a lot of training resources they could use soon, filling their shopping cart quickly. After spending close to 50 contribution points at once, Lin Su cheerfully held back. He glanced at Qiao, who was somewhat enviously eyeing the communicator screen, and an idea came to mind. Qiao, how about I get you a pet literacy video course? Meow. Is that useful? Once you can read, I'll buy you a new communicator, and you can log into my account on the association's website to shop and such. What? Shop on her own? Qiao was momentarily excited. Meow. I want that. Then it's settled. Lin Su smiled. When you get tired from training, you can watch the video courses and learn to read on your own. He had also casually browsed the Beast Tamer Association forum and saw a post by a senior beast tamer saying his pet had been able to find resources and learn teaching skills on the internet since it learned to read, which gave him a similar idea. It wasn't about being lazy, just that he thought it was good for a pet to learn more knowledge. And after learning to read, many things would become much more convenient. All right, we almost need to go. Lin Su was just about to say they should head to training when his communicator suddenly rang with a notification tone. Opening the communicator, he quickly found a new email, the sender's nickname being simply the 2 characters, Qin Nan. An email from a stranger? Lin Su instinctively opened it to see. Soon, his expression grew animated. This woman named Qin Nan, the researcher responsible for evaluating his evolution path last night, said the evolution path had given her much inspiration and hoped they could meet in person to talk. Lin Su even specially opened her identity verification page, and the title of a Tier 1 researcher at the Beast Tamer University Evolution Lab was glaringly impressive. Beast Tamer University, ranked among the top 5 in comprehensive strength within the Yanwang Alliance's top Beast Tamer universities. Honestly, chatting with a research expert like her would definitely be helpful for him. But the same principle applied. Chatting with her would definitely expose his inferiority in knowledge, which could make her suspicious about the origin of the evolution path. After hesitating for a moment, Lin Su still replied that they could meet and talk. Considering the submission of the evolution path later, he indeed needed to talk with some experts about this. As for the knowledge inferiority, he would have to cram before she arrived. Scholars of her caliber were generally very busy. A meeting would take at least a few days, maybe even a month or 2, so there should be enough time for some last-minute studying. Should be, right? Looking at her almost instant reply of, I'll be there this afternoon, Lin Su fell into self-doubt. Qiao. Meow? Omega, what's up? We're not going to train today. You learn to read for a day. Meow. What about you? Lin Su expressionlessly opened the communicator and began searching for information. I have to start cramming at the last minute. Number 1, Autumn Leaf Road. Qin Nan switched on the navigator in her communicator, indicating that this was the home address Lin Su had registered with the Beast Tamer Association. Staring at the old gates of the Autumn Leaf Children's Welfare Home, she suddenly fell silent, her face colored with memories and sorrow. Qin Nan silently pulled out a cigarette to light and pushed open the gates of the welfare home. The creak of the door surprised Lin Su, who was already nervously preparing inside. He turned to see the incoming person and took a deep breath before swiftly stepping forward. Are you researcher Qin Nan? I'm not that old. No need for honorifics. Qin Nan skillfully blew a smoke ring and looked at Lin Su. Relax. I'm not here to ask how you discovered the evolution path. Lin Su. You jump straight to the point. How can I relax? Have a seat. Qin Nan casually sat down in the courtyard, glancing at the books Lin Su had laid out on the table. Principles of Beast Evolution. Detailed analysis of the swift lizard species. Detailed analysis of the water breath alveoli evolution technique. You're well prepared. After a silent 2 seconds, Qi Nan said playfully as she looked at Lin Su sitting opposite her. But you won't need any of these. Lin Su, I mainly want to hear how you think a light-based pet should acquire fire attributes. Light attribute. Lin Su frowned. The light and fire attributes have a certain correlation, with better compatibility compared to other attributes. So the difficulty for a light attribute pet beast to evolve and gain fire attributes shouldn't be too great, right? Indeed, that is the case. Qi Nan nodded slightly and immediately spoke again. But what if that very light attribute pet beast innately fears fire? How should it overcome that fear? An innate fear of fire? Lin Su was stunned. So why insist on awakening fire attributes in a pet beast that naturally fears fire? Is this something humans would do? Does it have to overcome this? Can't we just let it evolve into another attribute? Lin Su cautiously inquired. No, it has to be fire. Qi Nan shook his head. Don't feel too pressured. Just speak whatever comes to mind. I just want to hear your thoughts. Lin Su nodded and began to ponder deeply. Qi Nan's question was obviously meant to test him. They must be doubtful about how he identified the evolutionary path, and so they wanted to check whether his theoretical knowledge was sound. In that case, simply saying he didn't know was clearly not an option. He had to present some substantial ideas to gain their approval. He began to earnestly recall the unique evolutionary paths he had read about in the divine martial world. Could any of them be helpful in this situation? After pondering for a while, Lin Su's eyes gradually lit up. Amongst the evolutionary paths of the divine martial world, he hadn't seen an identical case. But there was one similar example. It was a bird-like pet beast that mastered Earth attribute powers following a specific evolutionary path. Theoretically, Earth powers and bird-like pet beasts were entirely contradictory. Pet beasts that fear fire are similarly in conflict with the fire attribute. So, a similar evolutionary approach might be feasible. Lin Su cleared his throat lightly. I think it might be possible to. Honestly, when Qi Nan suggested meeting with Lin Su in person, she didn't hold much hope. In the current research project, she had spent so much time that it was almost a case of desperate measures. She just found Lin Su's approach interesting and thought it might inspire other ideas. But as Lin Su finished speaking, Qi Nan's eyes became increasingly bright. This method sounded absurd, but it made sense. Qi Nan envisioned it, and perhaps with a few detail adjustments, this evolutionary method could succeed. Excited, she took a deep drag from her cigarette until it was spent, coughed lightly, and frowned slightly. The shallow purple summoning patterns under her feet intertwined, summoning Spore Baby once again. Sequence IAM 0066. Race name, Spore Baby. Race ranking, lower leading race. Attribute would, growth stage, leading stage. Normal energy value, 8.2 WP. Talent skills, healing spore, core skill, spore parasite, vitality breath. Seeing her summon a wood attribute pet beast to heal herself, Lin Su couldn't help but speak up. Researcher Qin, are you sick? No. Qi Nan flicked her finger, and after the cigarette but accurately hit a distant trash can, she explained, smoking is harmful to health, so I contracted a pet beast that can heal. Lin Su. So why don't you just quit smoking? That's not important. Qi Nan waved her hand, looked seriously at Lin Su, and after pondering for a moment seemed to have made a decision. I'm considering hiring you as my assistant researcher. Would you be willing? Lin Su never expected that his only wish to quietly submit an evolutionary path to earn some short-term training resources for himself and Xiao would end up with him being hired as an assistant researcher by a big shot. If it had been before, Lin Su would have agreed without hesitation. For someone who hoped to enter Beast Tamer University, a top institution, the experience of becoming an assistant researcher at a research institute would have been an important bonus point during the entrance assessment, helping him to get into Beast Tamer University more easily. But now, Lin Su didn't want to agree. Becoming Qi Nan's assistant researcher meant that he would often meet with Qi Nan. And to be honest, this big shot, who differed greatly from the image of researchers he had in mind, gave him a strong sense of crisis. If he met with her often, the things that set him apart from normal beast tamers would definitely be noticed by her. May I ask why? Lin Su's face twisted with conflict, and he couldn't resist asking. With my level of theoretical knowledge, I don't seem to be qualified for such a job. Qin Nan nodded. Your self-awareness is quite precise. Lin Su. After seeing Lin Su's confused look, Qin Nan laughed. The question I just asked is actually related to the research project I'm currently working on. Your answer has given me quite a bit of inspiration and has been very helpful to the project. I don't like taking advantage of others. Since you've contributed to the project, naturally you deserve credit for the final research outcome. However, as you are currently just an ordinary student, I plan to have you work as an assistant researcher at the Institute as an official appointment. This, Lin Su laughed bitterly. So, was his cleverness used against him? He thought Qin Nan's question was deliberately testing him. So, to prove there was no flaw in the evolutionary path, he answered her question seriously. But it turned out Qin Nan didn't mean that at all. The face-to-face talk was genuinely about discussing something with him. So what should he do now? Lin Su fell into deep thought. Not long after, some noise came from outside the welfare center's door. A robust man dressed in the Beast Tamer Association delivery uniform knocked on the door. Is Mr. Lin Su here? Lin Su quickly realized it was the resources he had ordered that morning being delivered. He looked back at Qin Nan with some difficulty. Qin Nan nodded, gesturing for him to go ahead. So Lin Su quickly stepped forward to negotiate with the delivery man. After Lin Su left, Qin Nan leaned her elbows on the table, resting her chin in her palm, watching Lin Su, who was not far away, with interest. If she wasn't mistaken, this kid seemed a bit reluctant. Well, that won't do. Qin Nan, don't owe anyone any favors. Watching the delivery man hand over a large box to Lin Su, Qin Nan pondered thoughtfully. Training resources? This kid must have received the contribution points from the evolutionary path reward this morning. So, did he exchange them for resources as soon as they arrived? Could it be that he shared his evolutionary path just to earn money to buy resources? Looking at the somewhat dilapidated welfare center building, Qin Nan understood. It probably was the case. And he is a senior high school student about to enter Beast Tamer University. Ha kid. Qin Nan, I got you figured out today. After signing for the resources, Lin Su entered his room, gasping for air and carrying the box. In the room, Qiu was lying on the bed, earnestly using Lin Su's discarded communicator to learn characters. Hearing the noise, it turned its head to look. Mew? What's this? The resources we bought this morning. Mew. Omega. The resources arrived. It hugged the communicator and hopped onto the box, its face full of anticipation. You continue learning for now. I need to go back downstairs. Lin Su shook his head. He hadn't forgotten there was still a big shot waiting for him below. Mew, all right. At those words, Qiu lay on the box, hugging the communicator, and continued its learning. Lin Su went back downstairs, returning to the yard. In just a short while before, he had thoroughly thought things through. He decided to refuse. Indeed, being an assistant researcher could make entering Beast Tamer University easier, but it came with the risk of exposing his anomalies. Moreover, Lin Su believed that with Qiu's potential and the advantage of traveling between two worlds, even if he relied solely on himself, getting into a good university wouldn't be a problem. Sorry, I probably can't take on the job as assistant researcher. Lin Su looked into Qin Nan's eyes and said without hesitation. That's a pity. Qin Nan stood up, a hint of amusement flickering in her eyes. Once the project is successful, it can reward 100,000 contribution points. And with your contribution, a share of 10 to 20% should be possible. 100,000 contribution points, 10 to 20%. Lin Su, stay calm. You're a man who possesses a world. You can't just for a mere 10 to 20,000 contribution points. Stay calm, my ass. Lin Su immediately stood up, clearing his throat. Well, I think this matter deserves some more consideration. Right, having participated in this research project, getting a recommendation for any domestic Beast Tamer University shouldn't be too difficult. Qin Nan added, her eyes brimming with laughter. A recommendation for any university? No need to think it over. Lin Su's expression turned serious. Making contributions to the Alliance is an unshirkable duty for us. Ha! Qi Nan finally couldn't contain her laughter, laughing heartily. She gave Lin Su a hearty pat on the shoulder and walked out of the welfare center with a swank wave of her hand. Pack your things. We're heading to District 11 first thing tomorrow morning. Meow. Meow. Lin Su is back. Let's open the box. With Lin Su returning to his room, Chiu tossed aside the communicator, hopping around on the box filled with resources. Cough. Lin Su coughed lightly. Maybe we shouldn't open it yet. We might just have to pack it up again later. Chiu. In Chiu's puzzled gaze, Lin Su briefly explained the situation. In short, we might be moving to District 11 tomorrow. Lin Su shrugged. So let's not open this box of resources for now. We leave for District 11 early tomorrow, and we might continue the training there once we're settled. Meow. Can we train now? Alternatively, we could train over in the divine martial world. Lin Su smiled and patted Chiu's head. Shouldn't you be happy not to train? Meow. Unhappy. Why is that? Chiu gritted its teeth, remembering the snow lynx it encountered that day, its eyes filled with determination. Meow meow. I need to train hard so I can protect Lin Su. Protect me? Lin Su's hand halted slightly, his face showing complex emotions. Is it because of that encounter with the snow lynx in the Frostfall mountain range? I see. Then let's go train in the divine martial world tonight. Meow. Meow. Train. Get strong. Now that they could train, Chiu was suddenly happy. But before that, you need to help me pack the luggage we're taking to District 11 tomorrow. Watching the re-energized Chiu, Lin Su chuckled softly. Meow. Omega. No problem. District 11, the secure area where Mountain City University is located, also contains the Evolution Research Institute where Qi Nan works, naturally within District 11. Having never even left District 32 all his life, Lin Su felt somewhat at a loss suddenly heading to a strange, secure area. Fortunately, Lin Su had no relatives to worry about, only needing to bid farewell to the other children in the orphanage. After the initial beast taming allocation was over, high school at Green Hawk was also completely finished. Although it would take another month to issue the diplomas, Lin Su could handle subsequent affairs through the communicator even if not in District 32. With Chiu's help, after packing his own luggage, Lin Su spent most of the remaining 10,000 Alliance coins to buy a gift for every child in the orphanage as a farewell. To the children in the orphanage, parting was the norm. They had experienced it countless times before. Although they were reluctant, their feelings were overwhelmed by well wishes. Only when night fell did Lin Su finish packing his bags, bid farewell to each child, and return to his room's bed. Chiu, you worked hard tonight. Lin Su patted Chiu's head and smiled softly. Unexpectedly, even though Chiu hadn't been in the orphanage for long, almost every child liked it. So much so that their reluctance during the farewell was almost entirely for Chiu. Meow, it's not hard. Enter the beast taming space. It's time for us to sleep. Meow. Omega, let's go to the divine martial world to train. After sending Chiu back to the beast taming space, Lin Su slowly closed his eyes and soon fell into deep sleep. Under the moonlight, a man hugged the wall as he walked on an empty street. He wore a loose hoodie, the hood pulled up to shield his head, slightly bending down to completely envelop his face under the brim of the hood. The faint moonlight stretched his shadow, casting it on the wall of the street, eerie and gloomy. When he reached a closed shop front, the man paused slightly, extending a hand from his pocket and gently knocking on the tightly shut door. If one listened carefully, they would notice the knocking sound was sometimes continuous, sometimes distinctively interrupted, not without a pattern. As the man knocked, the shop door slowly cracked open. Without hesitation, the man entered through the gap. Click! With a crisp sound, the lights inside the shop suddenly turned on, revealing the man's face. It was a middle-aged man with a cold complexion. He looked around at the few others inside the shop and spoke lightly. Is everyone here? Everyone's here. A tower-like big man stood up, looking at the cold-faced man with some wariness. Li Tang, why aren't you staying in your District 30, but coming here to District 32? Li Tang's eyes lowered slightly, I didn't want to come either, but the East Envoy ordered me to coordinate with you to capture someone. A new task? The big man looked stunned. Why don't I know about it? It's sudden. Li Tang shook his head. Urgent intelligence. Qin Nan came out from District 11, now in District 32. Qin Nan? The big man suddenly realized. So the target is her. But do we need 2 palace masters and 3 masters to capture her? Kwasi, don't underestimate her. Li Tang's voice deepened. Our goal isn't to kill her, but to capture her to threaten him and get what we want. She has top master strength and a ghost energy synchronization rate of 82%. A cooperative body combat power comparable to that of a monarch level. Li Tang looked disdainfully at the 3 people behind Kwasi. Master-level beast tamers who cannot engage in guardian beast cooperation are just delivering themselves on a platter. While your subordinates can only play a supporting role, the real action will still depend on the 2 of us. When do we make our move? Kwasi no longer felt confused. Qin Nan will return to District 11 tomorrow morning. Li Tang chuckled coldly. She has booked 2 tickets, and according to the intel, she came to District 32 to meet someone and recruit them. Those recruited by Qin Nan could possibly be a talent in scientific research. Tomorrow, you and I will strike the transport passenger plane Qin Nan is on. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Li Tang glanced at Kwasi. Our beasts can fly, giving us an advantage in aerial combat. What about your subordinates? Don't worry. Kwasi waved his hand. Which of our people would have an inferior beast? Then it's decided. Lin Su opened his eyes and returned to the world of Shenwu. With the aid of healing medicines, his wounds had recovered significantly. The originally ferocious wounds had begun to sprout new flesh. Leaving scars was inevitable. But fortunately, the beast tamer had acted in time. There had been no complications during the healing process. After discovering Lin Su had woken up, Azzy quickly informed the Lin family. It wasn't long before Lin Su's mother entered the room carrying a small bowl of medicinal paste. After Lin Su took off his outer clothing and lay down on the bed, his mother sat by the bedside and carefully applied the specially made medicinal paste to his wounds. Her face was full of distress, tinged with a bit of reproach. Sir, don't go to such dangerous places again. You had just recovered, and now you're injured again. Beast taming should be a safer path than martial arts. Yet it seems even more perilous when it comes to you. Lin Su, enduring the pain, couldn't help but smile wryly. Mother, it won't happen again. This time was to conceal the traces of bonding with Qiu, and if it hadn't been for an unforeseen circumstance, he wouldn't have been so severely injured. Meow. Omega, it's all my fault. Looking at some of the fierce wounds on Lin Su's back, Qiu couldn't help but nudge him gently, its eyes filled with sorrow and guilt. Lin Su's mother's expression softened a bit as she watched the adorable Qiu, her tone containing less reproach. All right, the medicine is applied. Don't turn over yet. Just lie like this for a couple of hours. Okay. Lin Su nodded, his expression more relaxed. The origin of the medicinal paste was unknown, which initially felt a bit painful on the back, but after a while, it turned into a cool and comfortable sensation. Now that you've bonded with a beast, you're officially a beast tamer. Once your wounds heal, you can visit the Beast Taming Union, his mother smiled. Your father has some connections with the president of the Beast Taming Union in Yongnan City. If you meet him, remember to call him Uncle. After a couple more instructions, his mother stood up to leave. As she reached the door, she suddenly stopped. All right, I got you some basic energy fluids. Azzy should bring them over later. This little guy is called Qiu, right? Make sure not to let it go hungry. Then she gently closed the door and swiftly left. As a martial arts master, Lin Su's father spent most of his time practicing martial arts and guiding the younger generation in the family. Hence, all the minor matters of the Lin family were managed by Lin Su's mother, making her extremely busy on normal days. Glancing at the closed door, Lin Su turned his gaze quietly towards Qiu. What is basic energy fluid? Meow? Omega. How would I know if you don't? Fair enough. Maintaining his prone position, Lin Su pulled out some introductory materials related to basic beast tamer knowledge from the space ring and started browsing through them. Before this, Lin Su was not unfamiliar with the materials related to the beast tamers of the martial world. However, the beast tamer materials that had been inherited for thousands of years in the martial world were simply too abundant, and he had only had the time to look through parts concerning different beast species, evolutionary paths, and skill teaching. After all, these aspects were relatively more important. As for some of the fundamental knowledge of beast tamers, he had not yet had the chance to delve into it. And now, he finally understood what his mother referred to as the basic energy liquid. In the Blue Star, humans combined technological methods with exotic beast resources to create training auxiliary goods that served as food and energy supplements. Energy cubes. Depending on the specific needs, energy cubes were also classified differently, such as the regular energy cubes, which did not contain any attributes and simply provided energy enhancement. Attribute energy cubes, which contain different properties to enhance pets' attribute control, and healing energy cubes that contain a large amount of vitality for pets to heal injuries, and so on. But no matter what kind of energy cube, in terms of energy density and applicable targets, they could be classified into first, second, third, and fourth order energy cubes. First order energy cubes were suitable for both juvenile and elite stages, while second, third, and fourth-order energy cubes corresponded to the Commander, Monarch, and Emperor stages, respectively. In the martial world, similar training auxiliary goods also existed, which is to say, energy liquids. Energy liquids were divided into three major classes: basic, advanced, and Emperor level. Basic energy liquids were suitable for pets in the juvenile and elite stages. Advanced energy liquids were suitable for pets in the Commander and Monarch stages, and Emperor-level energy liquids were suitable for pets in the Emperor and Immortal stages. In the Blue Star, with technological means, energy cubes had long been mass-produced in factories, and nobody would make energy cubes themselves. Instead, they opted to purchase finely processed energy cubes. In the martial world, however, beast tamers formulated the energy liquids themselves. With different individuals having varying skills in formulating energy liquids, a natural hierarchy in quality emerged. Each class of energy liquid could be divided into low, medium, high, and perfect grades, and the effect of different grades of energy liquids varied significantly, even though they belonged to the same class. After learning about energy liquids, Lin Su's face filled with anticipation. "Chio, do you think if I learn to formulate energy liquids, we won't have to buy energy cubes anymore? A money-saving tip every day." "Meow. Makes sense, but we'll have to go to the Beast Taming Union to learn." Lin Su glanced at the material in his hands and shook his head regretfully. "It seems that after my injury heals, I really do need to visit the Beast Taming Union." By entering the Beast Taming Union, he would officially connect with the beast tamers of this world. Furthermore, if things went as expected, the powerful beast tamer he encountered in the Frostfall mountain range that day ought to be a member of the Yongnan City Beast Taming Union. Last time the individual had left in a hurry, and he planned to prepare a gift as a token of gratitude for the life-saving favor. Speaking of which, Lin Su closed the book and pinched his chin. "I wonder which is more effective, energy liquids or energy cubes. You've already fully absorbed the second energy cube. How about trying a bottle of energy liquid before we train next?" "Meow. Might as well give it a shot." Soon after, Su Qing came in with a tray, which contained 10 energy liquid bottles, each patterned with purple veins and containing about 100 milliliters, something you could drink in a few gulps. To easily distinguish between different grades of energy liquids, they're generally stored in different crystal bottles. The purple vein bottles indicated that the contained energy liquid was of high grade. After Su Qing left, Chio jumped expectantly onto the table, picked up a bottle of energy liquid, held the bottle with its plump paws, and firmly pulled the stopper using its teeth. After a soft pop sound, Chio curiously sniffed the bottle opening, and its expression instantly turned into one of satisfaction. "Meow, carat omega carat asterisk. It smells like dried fish." "Dried fish, really?" Lin Su was speechless. "Guess it's a new flavor for you." "Meow. Long live dried fish." With the bottle in its mouth tilted upward, along came a glug-glug drinking sound. The liquid in the crystal bottle visibly decreased until it was completely gone. "Burp meow." After placing the bottle down and letting out a cute little burp, Chio smacked its lips and looked up at Lin Su. "Meow. It seems even more energizing than the previous energy cube, so high-grade basic energy liquid was better than a first-order energy cube? Lin Su raised an eyebrow. It seemed that first-order energy cubes were roughly equivalent to middle-grade basic energy liquids. Indeed, the energy liquids prepared by beast tamers of this world had something special about them. Let's begin training, Lin Su said with a slight smile. There's no icy environment here, so we'll skip Froststorm for now. Today, let's practice Snow Trace and Snow Blow. Meow. No problem. Hold on, there's a condition. Seeing Chio full of confidence, Lin Su laughed. First, create a perimeter of frost snow around the garden's edge using Snow Blow. Then run circles around the garden with Snow Trace as fast as possible. At the same time, continue using Snow Blow to keep thickening the snow on the track. Meow. Omega. Understood. Watching the eager Chio, Lin Su chuckled. I can't go outside for now, but I can watch your training from the window while I practice meditation. Meow meows. Don't worry, Lin Su, you just focus on healing. I'll get stronger and protect you. Soon enough, Chio hopped out of the window and began preparing according to Lin Su's request. Curious, Lin Su peered out the window. There were more than just Chio in the garden. There were quite a few other young pet beasts frolicking. Chio wondered if it could get along with these pet beasts happily. Speaking of which, thank goodness his former self hadn't bought a fire cloud dog. Otherwise, Chio would certainly have gotten its fur in a fluff right now. Agilely jumping down from the window, Chio curiously sized up the vast garden before it. In fact, the last time it had returned to Lin Su's room from the Frostfall mountain range, it had passed by this garden. But back then, with Lin Su gravely injured, it hadn't had the heart to pay any attention to everything in the garden. So this was really the first time it observed it. A few minutes later, Chio confidently lifted its head. Meow. Omega. Running route set. It tiptoed to the edge of the garden and blew gently ahead of itself. And a large expanse of snowflakes began to fall, laying out a large snow blanket 2 to 3 meters ahead. The icy environment created by Snow Blow, as a manifestation of supernatural power, was not ordinary ice and snow. Such snowflakes seemed light and easy to melt, but in fact, unless they encountered a fire attribute or clearly high temperatures, they could maintain their form for a very long time in other conditions. As soon as the snow blanket materialized, ice flowers bloomed beneath Chio's feet, and in 2 or 3 light steps, it reached the other end of the snow blanket. Then it blew forward vigorously, extending the snow blanket by several meters. By simply going around the garden's edge and using Snow Blow, a garden running track covered in ice and snow could be easily created for Chio's training that day. However, things weren't that simple. Before long, Chio's actions came to a halt, for there was a bright light group lazily sprawling in the sun in the area of its next snow blow. Hesitating for a moment, Chio approached the bright light group. Meow, Omega. Excuse me, big guy, could you move aside? The bright light group shifted its body a bit. Purgy. Then you'll need to wait a moment. Its body slowly gathered from a spread-out pancake-like state into a drop or ellipsoid shape, and then it began to move towards the edge of the track. However, because it had no limbs, its speed was extremely slow. Chio. Straight face. This feels like it's going to take a long time. As it inwardly grumbled, the moving bright light group seemed to sense Chio's dissatisfaction. Its form trembled slightly, and it came to a halt. Purgy, did I cause you trouble? Huh? Chio lifted its head and stared blankly at the bright light group for a good while, then vigorously shook its head and trotted over, rubbing its body against the group's slight fuzz. Meow. Omega. Not at all. Purgy. Asterisk. That's a relief. Chio didn't complain further. It stood by the bright light group's side, moving alongside it towards the side, all the while continuously cheering it on. It took a good 5 minutes for the bright light group to move to the side of the track. It slowly unfolded from its gathered shape, becoming flatter and flatter until it was back to being a light yellow pancake, using the largest area to bask in the sunlight. Purgy, I've moved aside. Meow. Greater than over equal to Omega less than over equal to. Thanks for the trouble. After rubbing against the bright light group again, Cho reluctantly returned to the snow blanket and continued to lay out its training track. This time, without encountering any other obstacles, a complete circuit was quickly finished. Meow. Asterisk caret omega caret asterisk. Time to start running laps for training. Ice flowers bloomed beneath its feet, and Cho's speed increased continuously, eventually racing around the outer edge of the garden like a blur of snow. 1 lap, 2 laps. Cho burst forth with its fastest speed, putting all its energy into running. Yet there was a look of dissatisfaction in its eyes. Too slow. The image of the snow lynx chasing Lin Su and itself at full speed flashed through its mind. If only it could run that fast, if it were that powerful, Lin Su wouldn't have been hurt. It needed to pick up even more speed. A sheet of ice flowers formed under Cho's feet, as the energy liquid it had just drunk turned into new strength that Cho continuously absorbed and integrated into its body. Gradually, its already near-limit speed increased even further. "Oh, wait for me." A voice appeared beside Cho, and as it turned its head, a surprised expression instantly crossed its face. It was a little fox with golden fur and lightning patterns all over its body. Right now, its paws were almost completely elemental, with golden electric arcs pulsing outward with every step it took, eventually weaving together into a large expanse of golden sparks. Lightning Fox talent skill, electric chasing. The lightning fox wasn't running on the thick blanket of snow laid out by Cho, but hugged the edge of the snow closely, stepping on the garden's grass with each stride. Its full-speed running wasn't a bit slower than Cho's, who was using snow trace on the ice and snow. In fact, it seemed even slightly faster. "Oh, how about a running race?" A strong desire to win stirred within Cho's heart. "Meow. Greater than over equal to omega less than over equal to. Bring it on." Lin Su slowly withdrew his gaze, smiling as he closed his eyes to begin meditation. Whether it was Cho being considerate and encouraging to the bright light group, or racing with the lightning fox were all under Lin Su's watchful eye. It seemed Cho didn't need his worry anymore. It had found new friends here. Since it wasn't practicing Froststorm this time, Cho's training session lasted a full 6 hours, during which it even leaped through the window to fetch a bottle of energy drink. Not for itself, but for its newly made friend, the lightning fox. Running alongside Cho, the lightning fox also expended a great deal of energy. Lin Su fully supported Cho's decision to share the energy drink with its good friend. It was just uncertain whether the lightning fox liked the fish-flavored energy drink or not. This was the first time Cho focused solely on practicing snow trace. During the previous training sessions, Lin Su had prioritized Froststorm, with snow trace as a supplementary exercise. As a result, Cho's proficiency with snow trace had improved significantly. After 6 hours had passed, only the faintest of footprints appeared each time it stepped on the snow. This meant that Cho's snow trace was about to reach level 2. After meditating for 6 hours, Lin Su took the completely exhausted Cho back into the beast taming space, his face showing a hint of amusement. The effect of the medicinal paste on his back was starting to wear off. After changing his dressing with Azzy's help, he drank a restorative medicine and quickly fell into a deep sleep. When he woke up again, it was morning on Blue Star. Cho was still resting in the training space, and Lin Su didn't summon it out. Carrying his neatly packed luggage, he walked downstairs and soon saw Qin Nan, who was already waiting for him at the entrance of the Welfare Institute, standing next to a rugged and retro-looking off-road vehicle. Off-road vehicle. It somehow matched with Qin Nan's temperament quite well. Right on time, Qin Nan turned off her communicator and said, "Let's go, get in the car." After placing his luggage in the trunk, Lin Su took the passenger seat and fastened his seatbelt. Qin Nan pressed the accelerator hard, and in the rearview mirror, the old gate of the Autumn Leaves Welfare Institute slowly shrank until it disappeared around a bend. "Goodbye, Autumn Leaves Welfare Institute. Aren't you from District 11? Why do you have a car in District 32? Small issue, just borrowed one from the Beast Taming Association. Okay, so where are we headed now? To catch a transport plane, you dunce. Were we supposed to fly to District 11 ourselves? All right, but any more questions?" How should I address you? Teacher Chin? Not that old. Call me Sister Nan. Ah. What's with the ah? I'm only 5 or 6 years older than you. Okay. Sister Nan. Buckle up, kid. Accelerating. Holy shit. Slow down, slow down. Ugh. With the sound of flowing water, Lin Su pulled a paper towel from the airport restroom entrance, wiped his mouth, and his face was as pale as if he had just been greatly frightened. After leaving the restroom, he numbly returned to his seat in the waiting area and looked toward the short-haired woman standing in the corner on the phone, his eyes filled with deep caution. He would never ride in this woman's car again in his life. That speed, one would think she was flying a plane if they didn't know any better. Recalling the recent encounter in the car, Lin Su's face turned even paler as he felt the urge to vomit again. Damn. Chin Nan hung up the phone, her expression slightly gloomier. But when she approached Lin Su and saw his ashen face, thinking of a scene of him screaming in the passenger seat, a smile crept onto her face. No worries. Want some hard candies? Lin Su was silent for a moment. Hard candies? Nothing. Just an old joke from before the catastrophe. Chin Nan's expression slowly turned serious. There's been a problem. Lin Su looked up puzzled, slightly taken aback by Chin Nan's serious expression. What happened? My trip to Zone 32 seems to have been exposed. Chin Nan's eyes flashed with a hint of murderous intent. How wonderful. Travel exposure? Lin Su blinked. Exposed, then exposed. What's the big deal? Are you sneaking out from the lab and might get dragged back? That can't be right. The lab wouldn't capture me. Chin Nan shook her head. But some people might after all. After glancing at Lin Su, Chin Nan didn't continue. She looked around and lowered her voice. Long story short, the transport aircraft we are boarding may very likely be attacked. Lin Su. Is this some kind of joke? Then Chin Nan's still serious expression made him realize that it might be true. Taking in a sharp breath, Lin Su looked around at the crowd, his expression also gradually changing. He whispered in inquiry, "What if we don't take this one?" and switched to another last minute. If they haven't noticed, we might be able to leave safely. Chin Nan looked at Lin Su. But the other people on this transport aircraft would still be attacked. I just checked, and among the passengers, the strongest is a beast tamer who has recently been promoted to master level. Lin Su blinked and looked towards Chin Nan. Chin Nan had once summoned Mushroom Baby in front of him. Although Mushroom Baby was a commander level, yet Chin Nan's beast taming space tier was 6th. The person in front of him whom he had just met seemed to be a Hall-level beast tamer with a Monarch tier pet beast. Nan, can you guess the strength of the opponent? Chin Nan raised an eyebrow, her eyes showing a rare bit of arrogance. Weaker than me. Phew. Lin Su breathed a sigh of relief. You should have said so sooner. Then we'll just fly on this one. Even though they're weaker than me, it's still not without risks. You sure you don't want to switch? Chin Nan smiled. They are aiming for me. They probably won't pay much attention to you, a newbie, but if you come with me, they might take you out as well. Lin Su. Though it's the truth, that's quite harsh. No need. Lin Su shook his head without hesitation. I trust Nan. Hall-level beast tamer plus level 1 researcher. Such a strong leg must be clung to. Ah, you little rascal. Chin Nan messed up Lin Su's hair with her hand. Don't worry, with me here, nothing will happen to you. In the waiting room, the boarding announcement rang out. Let's go, board the aircraft. Leave the rest to me. Got it. Lin Su nodded heavily, following closely behind Chin Nan towards the boarding gate. Is this your first time on a transport aircraft? Watching Lin Su constantly peering closely out the window, earnestly watching clouds whisking by, Chin Nan propped her chin and smiled. Yes. Lin Su nodded his head. The attack Chin Nan mentioned never came. It had been over half an hour since the aircraft took off, and Lin Su had gradually relaxed from his initial caution. Perhaps Chin Nan's information was wrong? This was his first time on a transport aircraft. These aircraft, which combined scientific and beastly resources, had a stable energy protection system that could perfectly withstand attacks from commander-level beasts. They were an important means of transport from one safe zone to another. In general, the areas between safe zones where beasts are active The highest level of beasts were usually at the commander level, with monarch level and above beings mostly residing in the immortal country established by immortal tier beasts, rarely appearing alone. After boarding the transport aircraft, everything Lin Su saw seemed like the opening of a new world's door. Fortunately, his temperament was relatively steady, and he didn't shout out loud, but looking around was inevitable. At the Institute, you'll have many opportunities to take the transport aircraft for exchanges. Qin Nan smiled, her gaze quietly watching outside the window while showing a hint of caution. Seeing this, Lin Su couldn't help but ask, Nan, earlier you mentioned that someone might attack the transport aircraft, but now that we've left the jurisdiction of Zone 32 and no attack has come, are we safe? No. Qin Nan's pupils constricted slightly, her eyes narrowing, and a hint of murderous intent flashed across her finely arched eyebrows. They're here outside the aircraft,